What's going on, guys? Dr.MooMoo here, and welcome to the second annual Moo Moo Awards, an award show hosted by yours truly. This award show is meant to honor the greatest movies and shows of the year by giving them the most correct opinion on them. Now, on to the part where I make fun of the judges. Well, except for one of the judges who is too perfect and has no flaws. Me. One thought High School Musical, the musical of the series, was the best show of the year. One thought This Is the Thanks I Get deserved to win Best Song. One voted for Jeremy Renner for Best Actor in a Show, for renovations. And one who refuses to admit any of the superhero movies that came out this year are bad. So, as I said last year, if one of these awards upsets you, just know I'm the one who voted for what you liked best. Everyone else failed you. Now, let's get on with the show. Well, turns out 2023 sucked. Yeah, that's right, not a single good movie or show came out this year. So we're just going to go ahead and talk about next year. Next year at least appears to be an okay year, so let's take a look at what's coming and decide which one we're most excited for. The nominees for most anticipated of 2024 are Deadpool 3, Dune Part 2, Joker 2, Fallait à Deux, Kung Fu Panda 4, and Twisters. And the award for most anticipated of 2024 goes to Kung Fu Panda 4. The Kung Fu Panda series is one of DreamWorks' only series that has yet to have a bad entry alongside How to Train Your Dragons. The emotional moments and messages seem to land every time, and the fight scenes can be surprisingly impressive. Not to mention Tai Lung is making a return, even if it's not really him most of the time. And we might even see the return of Shin, who was often people's favorite villain of the series, and one of the best DreamWorks villains next to the Verminator from Over the Hedge. Any movie that gets you to mention Over the Hedge must be a good movie, so of course Kung Fu Panda 4 wins this award. Oh, wait a second. Turns out there were good movies and shows in 2023. I was just looking at a picture of all the DC movies this year and thought they were the only thing that came out. That is my bad. Oh look, in fact the year was good enough to have some pleasant surprises. So let's do the Most Surprising Award. The Most Surprising Award goes to the movie that exceeded expectations. That is, the trailers or general idea made us assume it would be bad or mediocre. But then, when watching the movie, it turns out, oh wait, no, this is actually good. The nominees for Most Surprising Movie of 2023 are Air, Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, The Super Mario Bros. Movie, and Tetris. And the award for Most Surprising Movie goes to Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. Dungeons & Dragons manages to subvert everyone's expectations by being an actual good movie. From the trailers, it looked like your average boring modern Marvel movie, but somehow it managed to be an actual fun adventure comedy movie. Some of the action scenes were surprisingly good, and most of the comedic moments actually land, mostly due to the cast being really good and having great chemistry together. I know this movie didn't do well financially, but I hope we still get a sequel, because I'd love to see how these characters return. That's why Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves wins Most Surprising Movie. Next, let's begin talking actors. Last year we divided actors and actresses, but I no longer feel the need for that because there's really no point in separating them. Instead, since we have the room, now we have added a supporting category for both movies and shows. So let's begin the performance category with Best Supporting Performance in a Show. The supporting characters in the show this year have been tremendous. They add on to the plot and character of the lead roles while also feeling fleshed out and unique themselves. The best ones feel so integral in the show that it would be lacking something without them. The nominees for Best Supporting Performance in a Show are Alex Hirsch, The Owl House, Brandon Routh, Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, Matthew McFadden, Succession, Meryl Streep, Only Murders in the Building, and Paul Rudd, Only Murders in the Building. And the award for Best Supporting Performance in a Show goes to Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd seemed like he was just going to be a short cameo considering his demise at the end of Season 2, but instead we get a fully fledged out character. He takes on a sort of antagonistic role that managed to become much more complex than that as the character develops alongside the mystery unraveling via flashbacks. Paul Rudd's character, Ben Glenroy, seems super nice at first with these flashbacks, but as the story develops, he becomes more rude to his fellow cast members, making his murder truly a mystery as he seemed hated by most of the characters. Paul Rudd surprisingly is able to pull off playing a jerk character, despite usually playing characters that are likable. Well, except for Ant-Man, who we all want to punch after that taco incident. Anyways, Paul Rudd's performance in the third season of Only Murders in the Building was terrific, so he deserves this award. Now let's move on to supporting performance in a movie. Like with shows, these actors manage to leave a mark with their performance despite not being leads. While they may not be up front and center, these actors still manage to make their characters memorable, important, and loved. Sometimes a supporting character can outshine the main in terms of performance and audience love. So, without further ado, here are the nominees for Best Supporting Performance in a Movie. Jack Black, The Super Mario Bros. Movie. Jeremy Allen White, The Iron Claw. Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon. Robert Downey Jr., Oppenheimer. And Ryan Gosling, Barbie. And the winner of Best Supporting Performance in a Movie goes to Robert Downey Jr., Oppenheimer. Robert Downey Jr. makes his magnificent return from Marvel, Doolittle Didn't Happen, and a great Oscar-deserving role in Oppenheimer. RDJ says Oppenheimer is his best movie he has ever been in, and he's easily one of the best parts of said movie. RDJ acts in a way we haven't seen in a while due to him playing Iron Man for so long, and I hate Doolittle. Did I say that? I forgot to mention that. Anyways, great movie, great actor, so RDJ wins Best Supporting Performance in a Movie. Break time from the actors. Now on to the music, which is another important aspect to movies and shows. Music is what helps a show gain feeling. The suspense becomes more suspenseful, the action becomes more intense, and the sad moments become even sadder. Let's start off our music categories with Best Song. This year had some great songs, some comedic and some powerful, but only one is good enough to be the best. The nominees for Best Song in a Movie or Show are Annihilate, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Annihilate! Be very afraid!
I'm Just Ken, Barbie. Peaches, the Super Mario Bros. Movie. A World of Your Own, Wonka.
A place to escape to!
And You Can't Catch Me Now, The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Catch me! No!
And the winner of Best Song in a Movie or Show is I'm Just Ken. I'm Just Ken is a fun song that comes out of nowhere in the movie. There's not much to say about this other than it's just a goofy song and it's fun to watch and stuff. Sometimes funny songs are just the best, I guess. So I'm Just Ken wins Best Song.
For my honorary award, I'm choosing the category of Best Original Song for the song You've Never Had Chocolate Like This from the Wonka movie. Because there's chocolate and there's chocolate, but only Wonka's makes your confident skyrocket.
Our next music category is Best Soundtrack. Soundtracks have the tough job of tying scenes together through their music. The soundtrack makes us feel. The soundtrack guides us through our journey, staying with us throughout it. The nominees for Best Soundtracks in a Movie or Show are Barbie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, The Super Mario Bros. Movie, and Wonka. And the winner of Best Soundtrack in a Movie or Show is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse continues into the Spider-Verse's great soundtrack by giving us more epic bangers. Mona Lisa, Annihilate, Am I Dreaming, and more are all really good songs that fit the vibe of the movie really well. That's not even considering the non-lyrical songs like the 2099 one, which goes, and that's really cool. That's a great song right there. Anyways, the great music in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse allows it to win Best Soundtrack. Let's head back to actors now, this time talking about the leads. These actors managed to take their characters and breathe life into it, not for a short period of time, but instead for multiple episodes that often can span many hours. The actors nominated today have taken us to many different roads, some similar and a reflection of our own, and others more fantastical, yet still natural due to the actors' portrayals of characters in this world. The nominees for Best Lead Performance in a Show are Danny DeVito, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia; Jeremy Strong, Succession; Pedro Pascal, The Last of Us; Pedro Pascal, The Mandalorian; Sarah Snook, Succession; Selena Gomez, Only Murders in the Building; Steve Martin, Only Murders in the Building; and Tom Hiddleston, Loki. And the award for Best Lead Performance in a Show goes to Pedro Pascal. Pedro continues his journey of dad to orphans in a show that allows him to show much more emotion, specifically pain, through his acting, both physically and with words. He pulls off playing this depressed old man who has lost everything important to him very well, and his slow acceptance and love of Ellie as they traverse this strange apocalyptic world where hope is minimal. Pedro Pascal manages to breathe life into the character that respects the original performance while also being unique enough to warrant the show's existence. Pascal was perfect casting for this role and takes the character where it needs to be, so this award goes to him. Hey, it's my turn for an honorable mention now, and for mine, I pick Jeremy Strong for Succession. Strong continues his terrific performance as Kendall Roy in the final season of Succession. Kendall continues his lust for power that causes him to do awful things like ignore his kid, and that's really because that's all he knows. His father has forced him in a life where he must compete for his love and just power in general that he feels like he's nothing without the company and being the CEO of it. He's an entitled prick due to how he was raised, yet you still root for him, which is in large part due to Strong's performance. Unlike Connor, Kendall was never able to escape his father's game of Succession and was never able to better himself as a result. And man, that final scene is just heartbreaking, and Strong shows the awfulness of this whole show and battle between siblings. The show's a tragedy, so in the end you're like, Kendall never deserved a happy ending, yet you rooted for him at times when you hoped he would get better. But it was clear from the beginning that that wasn't going to happen. Strong made that clear in his performance. Jeremy Strong's performance in this final season was immaculate. Now, ending off the performance categories, we have lead performance in a movie. These actors portray their characters with a great deal of care and love. No matter how the character is written, these actors are able to play their character extremely well, to the degree where we forget they are actors and instead just believe they are the character. The nominees for Best Lead Performance in a Movie are Cillian Murphy, Oppenheimer; Margot Robbie, Barbie; Mark Wahlberg, The Family Plan; Matt Damon, Air; Paul Giamatti, The Holdovers; Shameik Moore, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse; Timothy Chalamet, Wonka; and Zac Efron, The Iron Claw. And the winner of lead performance in a movie is Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie is an excellent actress who has shown her acting skills across a variety of movies, and she continues to show her great skills in Barbie. When she cries, you feel the sadness. When she tells a joke, she makes sure it lands with her delivery of it. And she truly makes us believe she is Barbie with how she acts and interacts with the real world. Her performance is magnificent in this movie, so that's why she wins lead performance in a movie. I know I said that not every movie was bad this year, but boy, were there some stinkers. Some of the movies that came out this year are just so awful, it feels like a feat in of itself to screw up as badly as those movies did. Some taint their franchises with a terrible film, while others just clearly don't know how to tell a good story, and many movies are riddled with horrendous CGI. If it wasn't clear, our next award is going to dishonor the worst of the worst. The nominees for Worst Movie are Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, The Family Plan, The Flash, Hypnotic, Paint, Shazam! Fury of the Gods, and Wish. And the award for Worst Movie goes to Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. That's right, despite it just coming out, we have had plenty of time to realize this movie is actual dog doo-doo. It seems only superhero movies can win this category. The last hurrah for the DCEU ends with the movie as equally bad as most of the other movies in this universe. How fitting. There's a huge downfall in people's interest in superhero movies due to the oversaturation that causes dumb stuff like this to be created. The movie is so incredibly boring and unfunny as heck. The fact that this isn't even the worst DCE movie is incredible and shows how great that universe was. I'll give $2 to anyone who can remember the name of the big bad in this movie. That's right, you can't, because Mr. Green Knight is the most forgettable thing. I wouldn't be surprised if you forgot about him and just assumed Black Manta was the big bad, like he should have been. Anyways, garbage movie, and thank God we get a year off from DC movies. Not that that helps with the oversaturation thing, thanks to Sony making so many next year. Just playing, I can't wait for Morbius 2. Let's go! Next, we have our big two awards encompassing everything we discussed and more. The first of these awards is the Best Show. The Best Show award is given to the show which is able to perfectly use everything. It must have great actors, great music, great direction, and more so that it stays memorable and tells an interesting story. This year had many great shows, and while we get to watch some of them continue, some have sadly finished their stories and come to an end. Either way, only one of these terrific shows can win. The nominees for Best Show are Ahsoka, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, The Last of Us, Loki, Only Murders in the Building, The Owl House, Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, and Superman and Lois. And the award for Best Show goes to Only Murders in the Building. The third season of Only Murders in the Building continues with the well-done comedy of the first two seasons while adding some new elements. Two big-name actors joined this season and both offered terrific performances. The show also adds some musical moments which allowed for some actual good songs and even some funny ones. There's also a Father of the Bride joke, which is funny because that's a movie I have seen. Anyways, Only Murders in the Building is a terrifically comedic show, and that is why it won this year's Best Show award. Our final award is Best Movie. Like with shows, this award is given to the movie that best uses all its parts. Tons of great stuff came out this year, but only one can be considered the best, and since my opinion is always right, the best movie of the year is always what I say it is. Sadly, I wasn't the only judge here, so we must actually tally the votes and see what movie is the best, when some wrong opinions are counted in. The nominees for Best Movie are Barbie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Iron Claw, John Wick, Chapter 4. Killers of the Flower Moon. Oppenheimer. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And Wonka. And the winner of Best Movie is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It seems our judges did indeed pick the best movie this year because this is it. Across the Spider-Verse improves on every aspect of Into the Spider-Verse, which is impressive considering that was already a terrific and my favorite movie. Miles Morales is a terrifically crafted character, and all the side characters contrast well with him while all feeling unique and fully fleshed out themselves. The new characters are all terrific. I mean, we all love Hobie, and of course the returning ones go well with the narrative while still feeling like they're characters. Obviously, the visuals are incredible as well, improving on the already impressive and unique art style of the first one. The music of course rocks, as you know by it winning soundtrack. There's also a Lego Spider-Man scene, and you gotta love that or you're just a loser. So many people have talked about this movie, and if you haven't seen it, you're missing out. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse wins Best Movie. And with that, the Moo Moo Awards of 2023 are over. What would you guys pick for each category, and how much do you hate our picks? Let me know in essay form in the comments below. Thanks for watching.